Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan, and a rather interesting article dropped yesterday on GameWatcher.com, which is dedicated to some stuff revolving around Warhammer 3, but a very important thing. Right, so obviously Creative Assembly is owned by SEGA, and SEGA does financial reporting every quarter. This was the second quarter for the financial year that ends in March 2023. You have to keep in mind that financial years are very different to the quarters of normal actual years. And there's a few things that we need to talk about here, as you can already tell from the first paragraph there. Publisher SEGA worried about Total War Warhammer 3's post-launch sales performance, but still expects the game to deliver as updates and DLC release in the future. So the fact is that yes, Warhammer 3 did have some issues post-launch and is currently having a bit of a low. Yeah, there's people leaving and stuff because there's no updates. They said that there's no DLC until Q2 of the year, not financial year, next year. So it's a bit disappointing, but it seems that this is actually quite good because we can get Sega's interpretation of the current matter because they are the owners of Creative Assembly, so they do kind of call the shots. It's a bit of a weird thing because Creative Assembly can kind of act independently, but it still needs to answer to the big boys. So we're going to read over the details here, and everything that's in bold black text is in their investors call from late October, so this was last month, and you can link directly to it if you so want, because I'll have a link in the description below and you can just read through this and click on investors call, which will take you to the report itself. There's not a lot of talk there, but yeah, let's read. Total War Warhammer 3, the new title, in the previous fiscal year was strong at the beginning. It was not as good as expected thereafter, so we worried about it. This is expected because, look, let's be honest, Warhammer 3 launched like crap, so what happened? People left. There was a lot of issues with Warhammer 3's base game. There was a lot of really bad game-breaking bugs for the Realms of Chaos campaign, and not a lot of people liked the Realm of Chaos campaign too. So what happened there? People started leaving, and it got down to, I remember at one point, Three Kingdoms, which has been dead for a while, unfortunately, even surpassed Warhammer 3 in terms of players, which was odd to say the least. Mind you, Three Kingdoms does get a lot of support from modders, which really fixed a lot of issues that the game had before it was put down. Let's continue. However, due to the implementation of large-scale update, it is showing a major recovery, and we expect it to catch up in the future. So this is something that we need to actually talk about. Yes, we did have a massive update, the Immortal Empires, the patch that came alongside it, and of course the Champions of Chaos DLC, which brought back a lot of players. This is really curious though, because it's not really showing a recovery, it's actually going back down again, as interest in the game is actually just falling down a little bit. That's expected. Again, Creative Assembly said no DLC until Q2 of next year, so that does kill off the hype train. Yeah, it does. That was a mistake on Creative Assembly's part. The player base around the time of October was still fairly good, and it's still fairly good now. In October, it was peaking around 26,000 players. Right now, it's staying around 20 to 24,000. It's still very good for a Total War game. And I guess they saw it as, well, when the next DLC comes out, if the next one is quite as large, then there'll be just a big spike, if not even bigger. I'm imagining that if the next DLC is Chaos Dwarfs, it would definitely lead to an even bigger spike. Let's go into the next quote here. Total War Warhammer 3 recorded a high Metacritic score and performed well immediately after its launch in February, but since then sales have been below expectations. However, we were able to improve the points raised by users in major updates in August, as well as other issues, and once again regain the high evaluation. Well, I don't know what Metacritic score you were watching, other than the fact of certain companies which were just giving it like a 9 out of 10 and stuff. Keep in mind that a lot of these companies like IGN barely play the game. They just go, oh, this looks pretty, give it a 10, right? But like players were downvoting the game. Players were downvoting the game. On Steam, it's still classified as mixed reviews, even though it's getting better, and like in most recent times, it's still very positive, but yeah, it's still overall mixed out of 40,000, close to 41,000 reviews. So if you're only looking at the positives and not even looking at the negatives, or even not looking at every demographic when it comes to reviews, sure, you can say it was positive. It's gotten better, and the game has gotten a lot better when it comes to like everything. The patches have helped. Yeah, sure, the game does still have a lot of problems, but you know, it's more enjoyable now, and I think that's the most important thing. but don't expect that the launch was good, because the launch was not good. It never is for a Total War game, by the way. It's not just shitting on just Total War Warhammer 3. It's just like every Total War game has like issues during a launch. I don't know why it happens, because usually like the pre-release stuff is really, really good, and then the patch that comes alongside the launch just kind of, yeah. And the last quote here is, as a synergistic effect, sales of DLCs released in the past have also been strong, and we expect this to contribute to the accumulation of repeat sales in the future. Yeah, so previous DLCs are getting better because reworks have been happening for those DLCs. Helm and Course, for example, Valk the Grim, both of them are from the same DLC pack and got a nice little update. Hell, Nakai the Wanderer got a little update. The Norse skins are a little bit better now. So once DLC gets reworked, when it gets patched to actually be playable, of course it's going to sell more. Because if it's starting to be considered playable or fun, people are going to be interested in it. But so far, everything's actually looking good. This might actually seem like, oh, this is just a worrying thing. But we see here, it's like we expect it to catch up in the future. They've got plans for more DLC. I know a lot of people are kind of worried with the whole situation of the future of Total War Warhammer 3. Which, yes, in fairness, a lot of people were worried. I was worried. But it seems that they're committed. Obviously, we'll have to wait for the next financial report, because these types of things do come in a quarterly basis, and we've seen another drop. Patches like that don't really bring people back. It's new content. Immortal Empires wasn't a patch, it was content. Same thing with Champions of Chaos. But as long as the player base stays stable around 20k, I think we're perfectly fine. I don't think that this is going to cause any radical changes. I'm still very much hopeful that we will get more content and we will get more DLC, because yeah, it just kind of makes sense. And there's been loads of hints. Hell, when they got nominated for the Games Awards thing, which was fairly recent, I think, you could see Creative Assembly members like retweeting the nomination and just saying, oh, this was only year one. They've got plans. They've got a lot of plans, and I think that's really important. Yes, you can be angry. I know a lot of people who are angry and stuff, and you're justified because you want more content and you feel like there's a drought coming in. But I wouldn't say lose all hope, because it's weird. Some people have. I'm still enjoying the game. I am. I want more content, though. As the content creator and also as a fan of the series, after 1,500 hours, I feel like I've played everyone. I really want, more stuff to be out here. But it's only a matter of time. And just seeing SEGA be more confident in the game is actually quite reassuring. Yeah, again, yeah, it might not sound like a lot, and things can change. Keep in mind, things can change, but as long as the parent company is happy and money is still coming in, whether it's slowly at the moment until new DLC comes out, it's still going to mean good things. It still means that we're not going to get the future Total War Warhammer 3. Warhammer 3 is not going to get Free Kingdomed, and we can just wait patiently, or rather impatiently, for Chaos Dwarfs, because I know a lot of people aren't patient. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. I just wanted to talk about this today because it kind of caught my interest.